Okay, so how to make lumber. So first of all, you're going to need a lumber mill. I've already got one built right here. But if not, you're going to have to select a tile that's next to the road. Then head into your shop here, into the industrial section, and then select your lumber mill. You'll need 5 wood and $50,000 to build your lumber mill. Once your lumber mill is made, you're then going to have to click on them into craft, and then you'll see here to produce 1 lumber, you need 4 wood, 2 energy, and 1 water. This build here is sort of like a later in the game sort of a build, where I've got my water pump set up and I've got my power plant set up as well. So you'll see that I'd need 1 water to make 1 lumber, so I've got placed him here next to my water pump, which is producing 1 passive water in the tiles next to that water pump. Also, my power plant here is providing free energy passively to the squares next door, so this one here is getting free, this is getting free as well. And then over here, our lumberyard, he's getting his 2 energy passively from my power plant here. So now if I go into craft and make, you'll see I've got my 1 water passively from the pump and my 2 energy passively from the power plant. My lumberyard worker is now going into this lumber yard next door, and he's collecting his wood. So he's going to go in and out collecting wood until he's ready. And then once he's built his lumber, he'll also store that in one of my lumber yards. This can also be stored in your wood storage as well if you have one, if you don't have a lumber yard just yet. And that is in your farm. Right at the bottom, you'll see a woodshed. Lumber can also be stored in your woodsheds. Okay, so this is the process I go through when I'm starting the game and I'm starting to want to start to build a lumber. Obviously, this here is later on in the game, so I've just cleared this area for the demonstration, and I've got 1 pond built here as well. So you could do this anywhere around any of the ponds that you've already got built. Notice how I've got a well here as well. So to start with, first of all, I'm going to build a warehouse, because as soon as I start building anything else, I'm not going to have anywhere to put it unless I have a warehouse. So a warehouse is going to be the first thing that I build. 3 wood and $10,000. This is quite a lot at the beginning of the game. So I'm going to place down my warehouse, and then after that I could wait for this to build, or if I've got enough money straight away, I'm going to build a wind turbine. So to get my energy from my wind turbine to my warehouse, I'm going to need a worker. So I come into the industrial area, I scroll down, and I build a worker house as well. So once my worker's up and running, he's going to take the energy from my wind turbine to my warehouse. Later on in the game, you can upgrade these workers to forklift operators. Right, once all this is up and running, I'll then proceed to build a water facility. So back into the shop, and a water facility. Note that your water facility is going to take free water to build each water drum. So where I'm placing it next to the pond there, I'm going to get 2 water from here, and then you could place it next to 2 ponds, and then you'd have 4 passive water, which would give you the 3 that you need. But because you start with a well, I've just got 1 pond and 1 well, and our worker's going to come out, get the 1 extra water that he needs from here, and bring it back. So that gives us all the raw materials that we need. We've got a warehouse to store it, we're going to have energy from over here, we've got our worker to transport our energy, and then we're going to have our water. So obviously you're going to already have a lumberjack and a woodshed, so that's going to give us the wood that we need. So finally, I'm going to place our lumber mill. So our lumber mill is 5 wood and 50,000. So I'm just going to let this build, and then I'm going to come back. Right, everything's built now. You could leave everything to this stage if you want to, but realistically you're probably going to want to have your warehouse up and running to start with just by clicking on it. And then you're going to start up your wind turbine as well. And then after that, once this energy is made, we're not going to have anyone to collect it, so we're going to then start up our worker house. Just notice how this floating house with the green tick above it means that it's ready to start work, but it's not costing me any money yet. So over here, 2,680. As soon as I click on that, you see how we've gone up to 2,740. So it's added on the $60 per minute that it costs for my worker house. So how he's collecting, he's gone down to work at the bottom here, but he would come to this wind turbine here if the energy was ready. And then after that, we're going to go to our water facility, and in the clip before I said our worker was going to collect the water. By that I mean this worker here, the worker from the water facility, not our worker from the worker house. So the worker from the water facility, he goes and collects his own water. The worker from this worker house is in charge of collecting energy, and they also collect crude oil and other such things from your industrial area. Okay, so once we've got our water, see how he's collected his third water from the well, and he's now got enough to start producing his water drums. And once his water drums are produced, he will then take them out from here, and then he will then put them in the warehouse. Okay, so assuming that we've got water, we've got energy, and we've got wood from our woodshed, I'm now going to start up our lumber yard. Our lumber yard is going to cost us another 50, and just note that whether my lumber mill is crafting or not, he still costs me $50 a minute. So I'm then going to come in, wood to energy and water, and now my lumber mill worker, he's going to go out and collect what he needs. So it looks like he's off down here to one of my other lumber sheds to collect the wood. Just a quick note on the difference between a wood shed and a lumber yard. If I come into my shop over here, if I scroll down to my woodshed, you'll see my woodshed only costs $5,000 to make, and it doesn't cost any wood to create. I'll then go into it, and you'll see that your woodshed can store both wood and lumber, but only holds 10 items. In comparison, the lumber yard costs $50,000, is then going to cost 5 wood. So to build a lumber yard, I have to have a woodshed first, collect enough wood in there, and then have enough money, and then take that wood to build the lumber yard. And the lumber yard is able to hold 20 items, so double the storage of your woodshed. If this video helped you out, please like and subscribe, and if there's anything else you'd like me to cover, please comment below.